Hey kids, John here. I want to talk about air and how we use air a little bit. And I've said things that are incorrect, but when you're speaking conceptually, you tend to use similar verbiage or language that you've learned as a student yourself. And one of those is take a big breath. Well, what does that mean? Really, you should translate that into take a deep breath. And if you look at it, we've got a tube. And it splits into two tubes, and then it goes to these lungs, and these sacs get bigger as they go down, as I do. Down in here, I'm bigger. So are my lungs. So are your lungs. Okay? So when you take a deep breath, it's like yawning. Oh, this moves out of the way. Watch. You can see this thing kind of, and my body slightly lift. When you take a big breath, some of the problems with that is that we fill up too much. And you go, and see my shoulders rise? Okay, I'm going to fill up all the way to the top. But you're going to hear the difference in my voice. I'm not going to be able to speak with the same kind of control because I don't have control of my breath support. Here I go. Super big breath. One of the problems with having this kind of breath is we don't have the control of the air until we get rid of some of the air, and now I'm able to speak normally. So this air up in here doesn't do us any good because we don't have control of it. You want to have the air in a region where you can control it. And how are we doing that? Think of this concept again. There's somebody out in the street and they're going to get hit by a bus. You don't say to them, "Hey, hey." No, you're freaked and you don't want him to get killed. So you go, "Hey!" I see that went in. I mean, everything in here is constricting in a manner to put pressure on the lungs. You've got a diaphragm working, you got your muscles in your back and in your abdomen, all working together to squeeze the air in your lungs or put pressure on the air in your lungs. And some people call that velocity. Some people may call it air pressure. You can use air support. A lot of different terminologies for that. But think of it this way. You've got an air compressor. It's an air pump that's pumping air into this canister. This big canister here it's filling it with air. And it's putting it under pressure. And then when you want to fill up a tire, that air is at greater pressure than the atmosphere, and it allows that air to escape and to put other things under pressure. So we create pressure for a release of air. We need to activate a buzz. To move the air out of our body, we have to create greater air pressure than the atmosphere around us. So if I'm going to buzz, I'm going to do nothing and I'm going to buzz. Ready? Obviously nothing's happening. Nothing comes from nothing. So I have to create some air pressure. I got to move some air. I broke the seal, but I didn't get the buzz. Now I feel something acting in here. I feel something going on in my body. All right, let's look at moving air. Okay, I'm going to do something interesting. It's an experiment you can do with yourself. Grab a piece of paper, make a little aperture. Super easy to move this paper. Okay, now I'm going to buzz. I can move it easier by just blowing. One of the reasons for that is when we buzz, our buzz is opening and closing. It literally is doing this in slow motion. It's opening and closing. So this point where it's closed, there's no air going through. It goes okay? So that's your buzz, right? So part of the time the buzz is closed. Creates back pressure. Creates the need for pressure from behind the lips to blow through them and keep them in a cycle. So you have to have some pressure behind them. Let's add a mouthpiece. Let's see what happens. Lower register, killing it. Octave up, not so much. Another octave, nothing. Nothing. What the heck? You would think that the higher we go, we got to move more air. Whoa. We just proved that that's not the case because more air isn't moving. You do this yourself. Piece of paper, mouthpiece, enjoy. Okay, so what's happening? We need to be able to sustain that buzz in the upper register with air support, or that air pressure, or the compression, or however you want to look at it, whatever makes sense to you, to sustain the buzz in the upper register. Let's look at the horn. Let's add the horn to this equation, okay? Up on the horn, just the lead pipe. Just the lead pipe. There's some motion. Not as much. Once again, we proved that the lower notes are more air is actually going out of the mouth, therefore into the trumpet. All right. Well, we proved that that air moves out of the lead pipe. We talk about, oh, man, I blow so much air through the horn. Lower notes are supposed to move more air, right? It doesn't move. I'll just blow air through the horn. I think what we really need to think about when we talk about air in the horn, just like take a big breath, take a deep breath, use more air support, put more air in the horn, put more sound in the horn. How do we do that? Well, if you're playing in a very closed off manner, oh man, you need to put more air in the horn. Okay, it means your air support again isn't working properly. You're not getting a full buzz. So get a full buzz. Get a full relaxed buzz. Okay? Nothing pinched. Very relaxed shoulders. Deep breath like yawning. Very relaxed throat. Okay, so what's going on with the air in the horn? After the lips create a buzz, the air has escaped. It is now simply exhaust. The energy created here that energy sets into motion the air molecules inside the horn that are known as the air column. Okay? That creates a pitch. And what you're doing is you're exciting pitches in the horn. I'm going to buzz an E flat and put the horn to my face. I'm not changing my chops. What's happening? That buzz is exciting a G. It's exciting that pitch. Open horn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how long it takes your air to go through the horn. And obviously we proved that when it does, it's just kind of dribbling out. There's no more real pressure behind the air. It's not moving anything out the bell. It's the sound wave that's moving, and that sound wave in 5 seconds has traveled 1 mile. What is the most important thing? Once the buzz has been activated, I'm playing an E flat, and that's going to sound a G. The most important thing is the note, the pitch, the actual hertz, the vibration. That sound wave is the important thing. And inside the horn is an air column. That air column has to be in tune with itself. Oh boy, good stuff here. So when you're playing a G, there's other notes, harmonics, sounding up and down. Below it and above it, there's other things that are sounding. That may not really be the fundamental of where that note really starts. So it's oh, you've got that sounding along with and other notes in between. And even way up above that. So those harmonics have to be lined up. They have to be in tune with each other. And a good horn will have an air column that's extremely in tune with itself, so that each note feels the same. Sounds even, they ring the same, instead of obviously, I played that out of tune on purpose, but you can hear the difference in the sound of the notes. If you've got a horn that doesn't play even scale, each note feels different and sounds a little bit different. When the overtones aren't lining up, typical things that people say, man, I like the way this horn plays, but it's really stuffy in the upper register. I guarantee you've got overtones that aren't lining up. Your horn isn't in tune with itself up there. Or, it's great, but man, the lower register is a little bit stuffy. This is the system you're working with, including your body. So when it doesn't feel good in a certain register, chances are that it's not in tune in that register with itself. I'm not talking about pull out the slide, tune up with the band. I'm talking about the horn sounding a note, a frequency, and having that frequency have other frequencies lining up perfectly in tune above it. If the horn isn't lining up properly with its overtones, it can feel stuffy. It's just food for thought. These are concepts. This is supposed to provoke thought. This video is supposed to get you to think about what's happening with your air. Really analyze a little bit of what's going on with what's happening with your air. Hope this helps. Take it easy, kids.